Ladies and gentlemen, our event will start right now. Please come back to the ballroom and join with us on our next section. Thank you very much. Once again, I would like to welcome back our audience in the ballroom so we can start with our next session for today. Please. Our event will continue right now. May I invite all our audience to come back to the ballroom so we can join the next section. Thank you, everyone.
Slides, it's all good. Thanks. Green is advanced. I think red should be.
Awesome. Okay. Where you guys based? Cool. LA. Oh, okay. Studying activity.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope that you all had a fruitful moment with us and have a feeling refreshed. And now we will have the next section is a brainstorming section, and we will need your participation. This section as part of .Asia's GoCreate Domain Innovation Sub-Event will explore new ways for domain name and the domain name system to be used. And with this section, I would like to introduce our moderator, Ms. Jennifer Chung, Vice President Policy of .Asia Organization, to lead us for this interactive section. Ms. Chung, the floor is yours.
Thank you, everyone. I see that you are all back in here. Hopefully you had a little bit to eat and got refueled by the lovely, very sweet, very strong Vietnamese coffee. My name is Jennifer Chung. I work for .asia. We are the registry operator for the top level domain .asia. And I think our lovely MC has already explained, this is a little bit of a new initiative from .asia organization, GoCreate. So what is it? It's GoCreate with an exclamation point. We're trying to be a little bit more, excited about this. We're trying to look at exploring new technologies, and how we use domain names in different ways. We want to engage all of these perspectives we have in this room, from industry insiders to people who have really brand new ideas. We're going to see, how we can drive the expansion of the global DNS and also stimulate the innovation of the domain market space. So I'm really glad that we're coming here right after Albin's introductory, session on this, because we're going to split this session into 3 parts. The first part is going to be, you're going to hear from some speakers up here who will introduce to you some new ways that domain name and the domain name system is being used. But then when we go to part 2, it's going to be on everybody in this room. Hopefully what they tell you is going to spark some new creative ideas that you might want to test out. So it's going to be a very interactive brainstorming. Those online, you will have the questions as well. We'd love to hear your ideas. And then finally, we're going to tie it all the way back in, and look towards next steps. Hopefully, it will spark some business plans for you that you can consider when the new round of gTLDs open up. So I'm really honored to have with me here on stage the speakers who will spark your creative ideas. Right next to me, I have Fred Hsu. He's CEO of D3. He will talk to you a little bit about Web3 and maybe, web applications. Next to Fred, we have Mr. Benson Bin. He is the president of Matt Bao, and he will talk about creative use of domain names, especially in this market and in this region. Next to Benson, we have Ms. Ngan Pham. Hopefully I got your pronunciation right. I'm really trying to learn Vietnamese here, so apologies if I'm not getting it right. She is from from NetMission.Asia. She'll give you the youth perspective on new social media trends, especially in the ASEAN region, and of course, closer to home here in Vietnam. And then last but not least, on the far end there, we have Edmund Chung. He's CEO of .asia. He'll talk a little bit about the Fediverse. I'm not going to explain what it is. He'll explain what it is. And also something called Drip. And just in time, our last, but also not least, speaker, we have Mr. Henry Tai, CEO of Big Domain from Malaysia. He will talk about how artificial intelligence is impacting domain names. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the floor to Fred. Fred, please take it away.
Thanks, Jen. I'm also a fan of the very strong and sweet Vietnamese coffee, so good observation. My name is Fred from a company called D3. I've been in the domain industry for about 25 years, started out of college, built a very large domain company, multiple registrars, aftermarket. We were a big registrant. We ran global conferences. We did that for about 10 years. These days, I'm working on D3. D3 is basically building what we call the domain-fi economy, domain financialization. It was really cool to hear the past panel with guys like Ram Mohan speak about Web3 technologies extending Web2, which is very aligned with how we think about things. We work with registrars, ultimately with registrants behind the scenes, to basically help tokenize their domain, tokenize a Web2 domain, not the other way around, to bring more composability and liquidity, of course, to these names. Thank you for the slides. I'm going to try to go really quick because I know we're on time clock over here. Today, I'm going to talk about what we do and some relevant blockchain tech. So, sorry, go back. Really quickly, the way that we see the internet today and the landscape, also want to jump into our version of comparing DNS domain names versus Web3 identifiers, which we spoke about a little bit on the prior panel. Challenges of alt-root systems, which have been around for a few decades. And then, like I said, some of the standards-based DNS and Web3 integrations that we are trying to attempt to make things just a lot easier and less silos out there. And also, we'll talk a little bit about DomainFi once again with some examples and kind of our ideas about roadmaps really quick. So our mission, like I said, is to basically leverage and extend the DNS system. We love domain names. Domain names are the thing with the dot. They work in your browser. That's it. And it's been that way for myself for about 25 years. Ultimately, we want to bring accessibility, security, and transparency to this asset class through these kind of new Web 2, Web 3 primitives. I'll talk a little bit more about that, what that means. We all know that domain names are fundamental and ubiquitous, starting with com, then XYZ, and even next year, we're working with companies, very large companies in the Web3 space to create their special extensions like .sol, which represents the Solana ecosystem. These domain names are embraced and utilized by Web3 communities as much as Web2 communities. They're just dying to figure out more. This is my little, I do have kids, so I must admit, I like to keep it a little green light and red light sometimes. DNS domains are on the left, globally accessible, trusted by all the governments and companies in the world, ultimately accredited by ICANN. What we have on the right is what we call Web3 identifiers, .x, .888, .crypto. High risk of things like called name collision and ultimately insecure, a lot of specialized resolvers. I've been reading as much of the papers as a lot of you guys have, published by the OCTO, the Office of the CTO by ICANN over the past several years. So the Web3 domain, or what they call it, Web3 extensions, were kind of like an interesting but ultimately failed experiment. The reason why things like .eth or even .bnb took off and kind of quickly puttered out is because they're incompatible. They're illiquid. It's a fragmented ecosystem. They're ultimately alt assets. They're not like .coms and .xyzs, to be clear. I did include, thanks to my marketing team, putting up a nice little QR code, but this is a Twitter link you guys can basically look at. From the prior session, we heard about name collision examples. Here, there's literally 4 or 5 .wallets out there. So when a .wallet does become available next year in the gTLD round, which one's going to be ultimately the global source of truth? And I think that that's going to be an obvious choice. So we've also attempted to present our own standards. We are working on an IETF draft of an RFC to use standard DNS TXT records to map a wallet address to a DNS TXT record, which also covers things like reverse mapping as well, which is pretty cool. Also, a little QR code for anybody who wants to read it. Last, I'll talk about DomainFi. So DomainFi is what we call domain financialization, domain finance. Think about what the MLS, I live in the States. Think about what the MLS did, the multiple listing service did for real estate. Think about what the stock exchanges like New York, NYSE, and NASDAQ did for securities. This is all the same. Creating basically a tokenized version of a domain name that mirrors the asset in Web 2 in a database, but finally bringing it to the world of blockchain so that it can improve price discovery. It can access 100 million plus buyers from the Web 3 ecosystem. People who want to buy this stuff, trade it with Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC. It really doesn't matter. Once it becomes available in the tokenized form, then people can start actually, we can start growing this industry from multiple billion to hopefully in the trillions. And like I said, we do think that this market has a lot of upside to grow. We just have to tokenize this asset, much like people are talking about tokenizing real estate, tokenizing treasuries, tokenizing gold and such. We think it's an ambitious but realistic goal. So that's what we're here for. So we want to kind of build this whole ecosystem together, working with registrars, ultimately registrants, and expanding this ecosystem way beyond 360 billion domain names today. And we envision success looking like a healthy, robust ecosystem of app developers as well. And thank you. Feel free to contact me through email.
And also feel free to talk to Fred a little bit more when we're splitting into groups and talking about new ways. I think Ram said in the previous session that, he thinks that, Web3, Web2, it's really an enhancement. So I think right now we're already seeing that. Hopefully going into the new round, there'll be even more creative ideas and uses. Now I'd like to turn to Benson, who will talk to us a little bit more about the creative uses, especially here in this market.
Thanks, Jennifer. I want to back to many years before when talking about the domain names. People just talk about using the domain name for the representative for the website only. Various type of the website, such as the personal blog, the company website, or e-commerce website. And some other guys using the domain name as the professional email address, like, for example, my email address is bing@matbao.com, for example. And after the .com booming, people using the domain name as the brand identity for the companies, especially in the technology business. And at that time, people using the domain name to name the company, to name the product, and to name the services. And nowadays, the world changing a lot. Nowadays is the age of e-commerce, the age of social network, the age of blockchains, the age of AI, and maybe the age of many new things will coming out that we don't know yet. So my friend, one of my friends, he come in the hangout times, he come and asking me, what your company will do in this and future area? Because my company is doing in domain business for 22 years now. We are the Matbao Corporation, is the first I can register in Vietnam. And we're doing 22 years doing this business. And he wondered that in future, we cannot sell much more domain name. And I pretend to shock him, to tell him that, yes, maybe today and future, we cannot sell as much as domains name than we wish. And you need to support me. Do not ask for any discount and thinking about how to buy more. But I took about 5 to 10 second practice, and I found out he have 2 Facebook profiles. He also have a linking account. He also have 2 phone numbers, and he shares on his achievement on the Facebook, on the linking, and he can gathering on this stuff into just his very small Chinese business card. And his company also the same. Have a lot of Facebook fan page, a lot of website, e-commerce website, e-commerce shop, and he want to gathering on the information. And I told him, we just launched the free services for all the people like you 6 months ago. And that services, we name it Canvato. And Canvato can provide for free everything, your business card, your e-business card. You can gathering on your stuff, on the link, on your internet, on your profile, on your achievement, on your photo, on your video, everything in just only one page. And we also have a lot of other free services like that, and we plan to free forever. And you can using our name, our address. It's a little bit long. Will you using it? He said that he guaranteed that he will using it because he want to gathering all the information into one page. And I told him, if you want to more professional, you should buy a domain name and you can using with it. He told me that that's a new idea and you can sell millions of domains to Vietnam. And that's one simple idea that we had set up for. We had launched for about 6 months, and we have some thousand active users. And out there, we still find many new ways to use domain name at the flash next to here. He told about the new way to using domain name. Can be using the domain name for the blockchain address, for the bridge, for Web3, and I think still many new way to you, new idea to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Benson. It was a good tie-in from, the aggregation of your digital portfolio, digital identity, and also all of that. And I like that phrase, free forever. I'm going to hold you to that. So everybody go to Map Out, take a look at this product as well. It's a really good segue into a little bit of insight that we'll get from Ngan. So a little bit of a youth perspective on what's going on with social media trends here in Vietnam, and also maybe wider in ASEAN and Asia Pacific.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. It's such a great honor for me to be here representing the youth of Southeast Asia. I'm Ngan, and I'm currently work as a digital policy analyst based in Hanoi, Vietnam. And I'm also affiliated with Net Mission, which is a network of youth deeply cared about internet governance. And specifically, I'm working on Net Mission Policy Observatory, which is a group of people very interested in research on digital policy. And we do a report on digital policy of the region every 6 months. So if you're interested in that, I'm very happy to further our discussion after the session. So today, in this conference, it has prompted me to do a small survey and study with my Southeast Asian friends. And I have 2 insights to share with you today. So about the Southeast Asia region, we have a really, really big group of digital natives. I think more than 300 million people. They're very technology savvy. About 80% of them are online. For Vietnam, I know that about 94 youth under 30, they have access to the cyberspace, and they frequently go online to do their activities. So they are digital natives. They do a lot of things online. They hustle online. But why don't they have a digital home? They don't have a domain name yet. Many of them don't. And this brings us to my first insight, is that youth are curious, but they are also very pragmatic. So they are curious about what the cyberspace can offer them. However, they are also very well aware of the cost of domain name and also what they will use the domain name for. So my study with, I conducted interviews with my Southeast Asian friends from Net Mission and also other youth from Vietnam. And I found that there are 4 main uses of domain name that youth really deeply cared about. So I hope this will help you when you design new solutions for domain name that can support youth of the region. And if you care about youth audience, I'd really love to continue our conversation. So back to the 4 main use of domain name that youth really care about. First one is to create a personal profile online. Many of the youth have asked me, I already have a LinkedIn account. I already have a Facebook and TikTok account. I already established my personal branding. So why do I need a domain name for that? However, many of them are not aware that all of the contents, all of the information that they shared when they have a domain name will be their own digital home, will be their authentic digital profiles. And I don't know if you have heard about it, but Vietnam has started an initiative that allows youth to have free access to the domain name .id.vn for 2 years, starting 2024. And because of this initiative, the number of registration for the .id.vn domain name has shot up to about 130%. So many of Vietnamese youth have benefited from this initiative, and their online profiles hosted in this, their very unique domain names have allowed them to get a job. So good for personal branding, right? So second use is that our youth are also hustler. So they have their own business, e-commerce, they're entrepreneurs, and they need somewhere to sell their business. They need somewhere to show that their business is trustworthy. We have a lot of good products. So that's the second main use. The third one is, I think it's the same for all of Southeast Asia. But personally, I found that in Hanoi, in Vietnam, we have a very vibrant landscape of social projects. of community projects. And many of the youth here, we want our projects to have an independent appearance, a very professional appearance, not just on Facebook page, but somewhere that is concentrated and professional enough to showcase our community work. And that's why many of us sign up for a domain name for our own social projects, including me. And the fourth use of domain name that I found very popular to youth is not really for any of their work, but just for how to say investment and digital asset. And after these 4 uses, I really hope that you all here will think about the uses of domain name that the youth in your country are currently heading for. And I would really want to know about your insights. And this brings us to the second insight, which is that social media, is it a friend or a foe of domain name? Well, I think it is a gateway that introduce youth to a meaningful use of domain name. I have scourged the internet, mostly on social media for Facebook, TikTok, Thread, Reddit, about discussion on domain name. And I found that there are a lot of discussion on how to register, how to manage your domain name effectively on these social medias, especially on Reddit and Facebook, where we can have very helpful community that guides you on that. And that makes me realize that the social media is the gateway. However, what the youth want is how we can easily register and manage our domain name, how we can have a very friendly interface that allows us youth to cultivate their domain names. And of course, if there is promotion like discount or economic gains coming from it, it's even better. So overall, these are my 2 insights coming from me that I really want to share with you today about how the youth of Southeast Asia is currently cultivating domain names. And I really hope it will open more discussion for us all. Thank you.
Thanks, that was really very insightful. If you're looking into tapping into this youth market, especially in Vietnam and ASEAN, take note of the concerns and I guess the insights that Ngan has shared with us. I'm going to jump over to Edmund. I know Edmund has some slides, but I'm going to use the moderator prerogative to ask him really to keep the slides a little short. We have a little bit of time for him to talk about the Fediverse and drip.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Edmund here, and my job is to include a few ideas, actually throw in a few ideas of how domain names are actually some of the new technologies that are coming up. One of the things that I want to start with, besides, well, actually building on a lot of what was said by Fred, by Benson, and by Ngan, but also some interesting technologies coming out from IETF. So this one is a drone remote ID protocol. It's called DRIP. So maybe you don't know, but actually drones nowadays, if this is adopted more widely, every drone that is flying in your sky actually will have a domain name mapped to it. It utilizes the DRIP protocol, but actually utilizes what is called a host identity resource record through the DNS. So if many of the regulators actually of drones are now looking into adopting standards like this, which is coming out of the IETF, such that you have to register your drone, and with each registration, the details are mapped to a domain name, so that the resource of the drone can be mapped through a domain name, so you can look it up. In fact, the process itself is very interestingly similar. It utilizes the EPP process to register names for drones, and then you use RDAP to retrieve information from the drone's identity, host identity. So I just want to highlight, these are resource records, just like what Fred mentioned about the wallet resource record. These are some new resource records that the DNS is now holding and holds promise for potential future uses of domain names. Of course, I don't expect every drone to register a second level domain, no, but it could be a third level, it could be a fourth level. But what is important is that the domain name system, as actually Ram mentioned earlier, becomes a trust anchor. It's a trust anchor both for devices and networks, and also even for blockchains, especially cross-chain environments. And I'll be fast. The other couple things that I want to highlight, domain names could be used for Internet of Things, the different devices. Again, don't expect every device in every fridge to have their own second level domain, but it could be third level, fourth level, and these drive the utilization of the DNS. And even simpler usage is actually just redirecting. We're seeing, for example, CNA, which is Channel News Asia. All of the news item, they use a URL shortener, cna.asia/ the title of their of the article as one of the usage. And the last one that I want to highlight, we talked about Web3, but Web3 is not just only about blockchain, it's also about the social web. And what we mean by the social web, or what is called the Fediverse. Today you have Facebook or Twitter, and they're like walled gardens. If you still remember AOL, people, anyone, that's called a walled garden, and you only see content within that. But with a Fediverse, basically each of you can have your own platform. Each company can have their own channel on social media that's federated with everyone else. Facebook or Meta actually recently have Thread, the newly launched Threads, actually embracing the Fediverse. And what does the Fediverse mean? It means that people can use more domain names. Why? They would have their own domain name that is their own social media platform. And that brings me to the end.
Thank you, Edmund. 3 really interesting examples, short and sweet. Really appreciate that. And now I'd like to turn over to Henry. I think in the previous session, Albin and Owen and others have talked a little bit about the impact of AI on domain name system, on domain names. And I think we'd like to hear a little bit more insights, especially from this region. Henry, take it away.
Okay. Hey, hi guys. Just managed to catch up to all the discussion. I just arrived from the Hanoi airport, right? My name is Henry. I'm the founder and CEO of Big Domain. I'm coming all the way from Penang, Malaysia. So Big Domain is actually, in a nutshell, a cloud service provider that turned into new media solutions provider. So why do we call ourselves that? Yeah. So a little bit history. So I myself, I actually started as a computer nerd, as a junior hackers last time, right? How to go into the, got amazed by the internet age and become an entrepreneur. So I've been in this industry over about 30 years right now, about 30 years, right? But I don't look that old because I started really young, right? Now, you know what happens actually yesterday? Google share just dropped 7%, right? Anyone notice there's a news? Google price, the stock price Alphabet is actually dropped 7% because of Apple give a comment saying that, okay, for the first time ever, Google search market share is dropped due to AI, right? So this is a comment. So as all we know, AI is dominating the market. Now, for as long as I can remember, I think one of the initiatives with Vietnam just shared just now, I think the new domain with for the youth are wonderful. We, for many years, even working very closely with Edmund, right, to offer affordable domain name, right, for SME to excel online, to get their branding, right, to get their brand exposure, right, reach out worldwide. I'm sure that there is a lot of domain name players, colleagues here, right? We have been trying to educate the brand owners, the SMEs, about the importance of the domain name, right? For how many years? a few decades easily, right? But of course, let's look back what's stopping them from getting their domain name and what's stopping them from getting more and more websites that's coming out. You see, last time when we are trying to promote domain names, what are the roadblocks that actually mentioned by the SME? The cost of setting up a website, the complexity of setting up a website, right? There's until today, people will still tell you that, okay, for new SME, for new business, for new startups, the first thing they do, they might not register a domain. They may start their social media pages, right? That's why there is a lot of SME, especially on the S side. They are either go for a social media preferred platform or a social media only platform for their digital brand exposure. Now, is it really the cost that is the factor? Is it really the complexity that is a factor of stopping people register a domain name and setting up a website? About a decade ago, if you ask me, maybe yes, but now not so much, right? Because let's look about the statistic. We have 34 million of new TikTok content is being launched daily. 34 million. But we have only a couple of 100,000 of new website or domain name registered per day. And out of all these websites, there's less than 30% being updated regularly. So, and especially now we're talking about the overall cost of register a domain name, right? Domain name is, you see, sometimes it's very frustrated being a domain name registrar because domain name is just a small cost of the digital branding, right? And we are giving it free. Some more we have to convince people to take it, right? So that is the frustration of being a domain name registrar, right? But you're looking at what are the brand owner or business owner doing nowadays. You see, we being a domain name registrar that actually we haven't really turned up. I'm still very actively promoting .asia, Edmund. So basically, we are working with our customer in creating their content in TikTok and even the latest one, the latest phenomena from China, the Xiaohongshu red note, right? If you guys are from US, you guys heard about the TikTok refugee phenomena. When TikTok getting banned in US early this year, there are tons of content creators that actually rush into this platform called Red Note or Xiaohongshu. Now, this, you see, just to articulate with you, one brand owner, how much are they spending on creating content? I can tell you, if they are spending like probably $5,000 in US, right, on marketing their website, creating their website, and so on, they are spending 10 times the cost in creating their social media content, right? That is in TikTok. You see, you see, last time when I want to say that, I want to create a website is difficult. I do a blog is much easier. I go and do my Facebook post is easy. Now's the day, they have to have 48 on a market statistic. They need to have 40 to 80 new content per week into this multiple platform. And all this content go to various of platforms except their website, right? Now we go back, we ask a question that I always ask our customer. Why do you start your business and promoting your business more on social media? A simple question from anyone would be, I mean, all of us, would you promote your business on website first or social media? Social media first, can I see a hand? Okay. Website first, please touch your heart, be honest. So whatever promotion that you're going to promote is on website. Okay. What's the reason? What's the reason, Edmund? Social media. You do it together. Okay, have to, yeah, .asia. So we get a lot of answer, right? We get a lot of answer. Social media has more people to look at. So people are more interested to go to our social media to get product updated. But Website, not so much. People don't like our website. No matter how much we spend on our website, people just don't like our website. I will just tell the customer or whoever client that I'm meeting, just do a simple experiment. Whatever you are updating in social media today, update on your website. And whatever you're updating on your website today, update in your social media. I will personally guarantee you will drop 90% of your social media audience. What are you actually promoting on your website? You see, when we are creating website, we stop updating. Many of the SME, they stop updating. And we're putting boring stuff on our website. We're putting our price list, our company portfolio, our award, right? Our gallery, smart photo of our team member. Is this what entice the attention of our audience, right? So what Google is facing right now, Google is facing a competition not only on AI, but in social media as well, because Google is indexing the data from website, which a big chunk of them is outdated information because SME started their website, they don't update it, right? So that is the main cause. So what we need to do is we really need to look at what we are instead of doing SEO, do some creative hacking on the website and hope that user come to our website using all these keyword and stuff. Probably we should look at what is the content that entice our user and make them come to our website more often than our social media. I think that is the key thing that I wanted to share with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. So I think we're very clear. It's not an either or, it's not that. We can do it. It's complementary. Now I'm going to do good on my promise. I promise that it will be interactive. I'm hoping that you guys are still fueled by both the creative ideas and also the coffee. We have flip charts. We have 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. I'd like also for our speakers to stand up as well. Those of you who have ideas and want to take part in this very interactive session, let's split this into 3. I think maybe 3 is good. We'll have a group here. You don't have to move. A group over there. Edmund, please go over there. Maybe with Henry as well. Fred and Nan, you can be over here. And then we'll have one more group here. What I'd really like us to do is to think. I've walked too far from the stage. Think about some ideas that you want to test out. As crazy as it might be, it's actually interesting to put it on paper first. And then after this, I think 15 minutes of brainstorming, we'll come back, do a little bit of wrap up and look to next steps. So if I can just ask everybody to maybe get up and move a little bit closer towards the stage, towards the front, and we'll have the flip charts right in front for you. So please, we'll have Fred here with Nan, and then Benson, you can come over here with me. I realize I have to be on the stage to be heard. I'm really like boxed into here. So the flip chart's over there, flip chart's in the front, and then we'll have one over here as well. Testing. Oh, I can be heard now. Perfect. So those of us that are just online, Ronnie will also post some framing questions for us, to kind of spark some ideas, spark some thoughts. Should we have another group over here, or it's probably it's nice to be able to? No, of course, why not? Yes, I mean, you can clarify. Yeah, I know. Okay. Hello.
Do outside.
We
Just
do.
some safety.
Oh. No, that's okay. So we like. Oh, okay. I can read it.
That challenge? Yes, that is. Okay, you have. Who's got good handwriting? They can write. My handwriting, no one can read it. I can't read my own handwriting. So, Albert. Okay. All right.
That he wanted to start his own business, but then not all. But it's a new thing. Has it been around for quite some time? I think, from the perspective of
Sorry.
a friend of mine using his name actually wanted to start a company, but then the domain that he was using. I have a friend. I think really have you had and the the big scam face and the money is go to another pocket. And the two phone buy also from the country. But also the peso is
fit into how we read. So personal identifier used to make
very possible, right? Technically possible, but I think again, behind everything, it's about policy. And then I think, the incumbent, those, like, for example, phone number. But then I think remember the same concept that exists. At the consortium long new GTLD, I forgot the label to identify the person. Yeah. That's really a great idea, but not really fun. I do like the person. Sort of sign up for that. This is why I dodged you. It's kind of.
It's all good. Finish your, but I got. Does VR do any of this? Because they were saying, I think it was Pham who said, Vietnamese government really wanted to kind of push usage for the youth, so they did special promotion for two. Does PR do any of it or the others?
No.
But there's already quite
We are
native
really
uptake
wary of
because of the numbers
Yes.
go up. That's why it's kind of limited, really. Or any kind of initiatives
there are
to drive
some ways
uptake.
now that we fully verify identity.
I won't stop you from taking a look. Yeah, please.
IoT is not really into just a sense.
如果你唔得嘅咧，你叫我 adjust 咗啊。
I'm seeing it in California.
So what? Where? There's no. Don't want to stop all of this good conversation, but 2 to 3 minutes of brainstorming, and then we'll come back to plenary to share all of your ideas and wrap and see what next steps we have.
More than so free domain. That is back. They go.
I know it's hard to stop your creative juices flowing, but we'll be wrapping in 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm very subtle. All right, so thank you everyone for your creative ideas. Don't stop here. There is going to be tea break later, but right now let's get back to plenary. My speakers, please come back on stage. I'd like to hear all of the ideas that were discussed at the three breakout groups. Actually, Albin, please stay there. I guess we can have Fred talk about it here, but let's go straight over to this group here and highlight some of the interesting ideas that this group was discussing.
Okay, just reporting back a little bit, we had plenty of ideas. We started off with AI, interestingly enough, using DNS to navigate between physical data clusters. Because of the large data, the big data, AI needs domain actually helps identify the different data clusters. We have someone suggest using e-name cards. I still have a physical name card, but using domain names for a personalized e-name card actually, and then there is a number of discussion that actually leads to personalized domains, such as a suggestion for having a baby domains at birth. When you get your birth certificate, you get your domain for your baby. And then we expanded a little bit on the discussion on Fediverse that I started, which is a social web. Talked a little bit about Blue Sky and the AT protocol for personal domain names again coming back. And then there was a series of discussions which led us to realization a few things, that the DNS, whether it's utilizing identifying certificates for IoT, whether it is trusted information, whether it is for verification of personal names, the idea of the DNS as a trust anchor, because of the natural root and the trusted linkage to a particular domain, whether it's a third level, fourth level, the chain of trust allows us to actually create identifiers that are trusted anchors, and this is going to be a very important part of the future of the DNS, which I think Ram mentioned in the previous session as well. And then one last item I thought it was really interesting is that when we talk about people moving to social media and forgetting using domains, one of the main thing is the end user kind of experience, because old websites are not updated to more mobile friendly ones, and small companies might be difficult for them to create mobile friendly websites. That has been one of the main things, and this is one of the things that we need to address to push people back onto domains. Anything?
Thank you, Edmund. Really brilliant ideas of theirs, like completely filled. I heard domains at birth, I heard trust anchor, I heard chain of trust. I'm going to come here over to the middle group. Can give us a quick highlight?
So our group has an extensive discussion on how the youth can use domain name to build their personal profile. So there are some ideas about the domain name, the dot something something really highlights the unique points about their profile, like .art or .site, .world. And we also have ideas on integrating services like gamification, allowing the youth to easily build up their website and interactive interface on top of the domain name that they have purchased. So can make their website like more lively and interactive, just like a social media page. But it's just that now they have their own digital home where they can house all of their content and interact with their audience. So that's basically it.
Thank you, Anne, for that. Now we have the group over here. I think we're going to wrap it up really well.
All right. For some reason, I'm doing this. So I think our group basically, the ideas can be summarized into two broad categories, and I'm pretty sure admin's group kind of came here as spy and stole some of our ideas as well. But the first main discussions, I think can be summarized as a personalized unique identifier. We talk about how we can link it with payments and medical record, resume, even potentially as a replacement of phone number, because that's actually a rather dated technology. How does actually a unique personal identifier could replace a lot of things, and this idea should be linked directly to what we call a verifiable credentials. So I guess that's something admins group also discussed as well. So and the second kind of larger group of ideas is slightly harder to kind of summarize as a keywords, but I would say maybe something along the line of IoT adoption. So we talk about some of the remote countries in some of the islands. How domain names could be used to promote inclusion, coming back to the theme of the day. And we also talked about how domain names could be potentially used as maybe replacement or complementary to satellite communication or geographical mapping. And for example, if all the IoT devices have some kind of sensor as a central communication, that sensor could be using a domain name, and then this actually can be utilized to do geographical mapping, replacing longitude and latitude and things like that. So that could be, we can also think about it from a like an online, offline, merging this kind of way. So that's what we discussed, and certainly we talk about registration at birth as well.
I don't know which group was copying which group, or maybe just everybody had the same creative ideas. Brainstorming is really interesting. I'm not going to attempt to summarize all of these good ideas because this is just the start. This is not the end. I'd like to say watch this space. All of your really good ideas here will be coming out in probably some kind of blog, an article. Another thing, watch this space, is we will also have another GoCreate session tomorrow about getting hooked on domains. But thank you, a big round of applause to the speakers and all of you for supplying us with this really robust interactive action. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jennifer Chung. Please stay on the stage, and I would like to invite all the speakers to come back on stage for the photo taking. Once again, thank you all our expert speakers for insightful discussion, and thank you all in the audience for participating through this interactive section. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a short tea break before our final section of the day. And we look forward to having you back with us at 4 p.m. for the plenary on the new gTLD program next round. See you then.